Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Making Feria. My name is Chris Medina. I am an entrepreneur, and today I have a very special guest. His name is Shannon Horton. Man, me and Shannon go way back. I mean, he's been my friend for a couple years now, and I remember when we first met, man. We met at a commerce breakfast networking event. I mean, it's where you make the greatest connections. But tell us, Shannon, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of background story.
Yeah, I think specifically, I guess with entrepreneurship, my background goes as way back as middle school. You know what I mean? I think my first entrepreneur experience was selling candy in middle school and all the way up to high school. And it was just, in third grade, I saw this kid selling Airheads. Everyone was flocking to him. And I was like, man, I want to be that guy, that everyone goes to. And so I was like, I walked up to him. I'm like, hey, I want to work for you, man. And
To the little kid, yeah, I want to work for you, man.
I want to work for you, man. And we were in third grade, and he's like, okay, because we were in third grade. So he's like, let me ask my dad.
That's a good one. That's a good one, man.
And so, yeah, he came back the next day. He's like, my dad said, yes, here's your box of Airheads.
Dang. Okay.
You're going to get paid on Friday.
That's good. Good story, man. We have such a similar story because I used to sell Gatorades, and man, Gatorades it's a much harder thing to do because I used to freeze them the night before. I used to put like 20 Gatorades in the freezer. And then the next day in the morning, I used to have this big, and I remember it was a Hummer backpack. So it was this huge backpack, and I used to just stack them, boom, boom, boom. So my backpack, can you imagine carrying 20 Gatorades in high school? And that thing was so heavy. And I remember my first class was on the third floor. So I had to take it up 3 flights of stairs. And then by the time I got to PE is when I would just sell out. Like you said, the whole flock would come and just boom, just knock them out. And bam, I had my McDonald's money for the day.
Didn't it feel good to have an empty backpack and a full pocket of money?
Yeah. I used to take out my dollar bills. Be like, oof. Yeah, that was the best feeling ever, man.
To continue that story, the first week I got paid, it was a Friday, and I remember this because I got paid $10 in quarters. And that whole recess, we had to count each quarter to make sure I got my $10.
Yeah.
And that weekend, I remember I used to go to my dad's every other weekend. So that weekend I was going to my dad's, and I was like, Dad, I want to have my own candy business. So we took that $10 and went to Costco. I got my first batch of Airheads, and then that Monday I was in business.
I'm going solo.
Exactly.
I'm going solo now.
So that was how I started. That was like my taste of entrepreneurship, and ever since then I got hooked. I'm like, I want to be in business for myself. I want to do something, and that's how it started.
Nice.
So. Great.
So tell the audience. So tell us a little bit of the different things, because you do different things, and how'd you get into them?
Yeah. So I think. I'm in real estate and real estate finance. That's pretty much my bread and butter. I also, obviously, with that, started doing real estate flips with my aunt as well. So that's been, really good. And I think before that, I was in marketing and just, I think I was in a position where I wanted to find out what vehicle is going to take me to where I wanted to go. So, I think that's pretty much mainly what I do is real estate and real estate finance. I've always been in love with real estate, and even doing marketing, I thought, what could I do that will give me the money to, start investing in real estate. So just in a nutshell, that's pretty much what I do.
Getting into real estate. Yeah, real estate. I mean, there's so many things you could do in real estate. There's commercial,
residential, loans. There's real estate flipping, real estate investing, property management. There's just wholesaling, man. The list goes on.
Infinite, so you can always, choose something to do in real estate.
Exactly.
So Shannon, what are the challenges that you had to overcome at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, I think one of the major challenges is patience. I think we live in a world where, we want everything now, especially with the time we came up, and especially with social media, and when early days of Bitcoin, you seen 24-year-old kids with Lambos and traveling, and you're thinking that that's actually real success. When in reality, the average millionaire, I think that says is like anywhere from 57 to 67, and also it takes about 5 to 10 years in any industry to really hit that peak.
Yeah.
So we obviously, we think, if we're not there at X amount of time, that we're behind, and you start taking shortcuts. And every single challenge, I think, and every single mistake I made was rooted in, you weren't being patient enough, and you wanted things quick and easy. You know what I mean? And you wanted them, and that's going to bite you in the butt.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the major challenges was, hey, you know what? Not being patient enough, and you're seeing this external success, and you're trying to make shortcuts to get there. So I think that once the quicker way you learn that, hey, there's no shortcuts to success. This is what, you have to put in a certain amount of work. You got to do certain things in order to get the real success. Because, there's Instagram success and then there's real success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Show me your bank account. Show me your net worth. You know what I mean?
Show me your bank deposits.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's because we know people that make tons of money that, they're not showing all of it on social media. You know what I mean? So it's that perception and versus reality. And so it's
Definitely.
Let's not take shortcuts.
Definitely. Yeah, you got to be patient. The first couple of years in business, you're most likely not going to make any money. You'll probably just even break even at that point. Hopefully you don't lose money, but, sometimes you do. So what would you say are the keys to your success? When did you start your business, and then when did you see like that big growth? Or
I would say that the keys to success, well, first, I think success has levels. There's levels to everything, right? And so I think in entrepreneurship, the first level of success you want to get to is obviously making sure that you can pay your bills and make a living off of what you want to do. That's level one.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, as we know, hey, if I love, selling hearing aids or doing real estate, step one, can I pay my bills and do this full time? I think that's a level of success in itself. If you're an entrepreneur and you can be full time and pay your bills based off of what you love to do, that's step one. And I think step two is, can I make six figures off of what I want to do? Then after that, I think level two would be maybe making 250 to 300. And then after that, it's grossing $1 million, then netting $1 million, right? So I think, and after that, there's more levels and levels and levels, right?
Keep scrolling.
Yeah, I think for me, my key to my success is, one, being around successful people, right? And like you're saying, having mentors.
Yeah.
Right. I think so. That's for me. I have people that have over 35 years or 40 years combined of experience. So, jumping into the real estate game when things were 100% rocky, rates are going up, you know what I mean? But I was still able to make that six figures in my first year or two in business because I had those mentors and those people that, were crucial in, cutting that learning curve for me. And number two is doing good business. That's 100% important. It's not about making the money, but actually doing good business and making sure it's a win-win, because no matter where you go in life, you have a trail of relationships that you've built. And even people that are that I've done marketing with are now doing business with me on the real estate side because I've always, made sure to do good business.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's completely underrated. And there's people out there, and I'm pretty sure people that are watching that get a lot of business through referrals, right? And they just have a name for themselves. And the way they do that is doing good business. So I think number one key to success is be around people that are, whatever field you want to get in, that are successful, right? And number two is doing good business at all times, because that's going to take you way further than you ever could imagine.
Definitely. Yeah, good business, definitely. You always want to provide a good service, make sure your product is good, and just always be there for your client, right?
Yeah, I mean, just a little testimonial for you. I mean, my great aunt came in here and she was, impaired of hearing. She couldn't keep up with our family. She would always just nod her head and say yes. And we knew she couldn't understand, but after going with you, man, she looks up now. She looks in your face. She interacts with you. And just like you can see, man, this guy makes an impact in people's lives. And it's not just, you see the Rollie, you see the BMW, you see all that, but behind that is good business.
Yeah.
Behind that is good business. And I think that's a major key to anyone's success.
Making sure your product or service impacts people's lives, definitely. So I appreciate that, hearing aids definitely help a ton, millions of people's lives. So
and so when I have an investor that, is doing his first flip, and it went successful, or have someone that just bought their first property and they're starting their family legacy and their, generational wealth building, that's a success for me, and doing that good business and making sure they understand every step of the way what's going on. They're not being screwed over with all these junk fees and this and that. That's, doing good business. So
definitely, you don't want to present somebody, like you said, like the hidden fees. It's just be upfront, clear.
This
good
is what it
good
is.
Service is what it is. Be authentic, and
longevity.
Do good business.
Yeah.
So what about networking? You said, hanging out with the right people. Obviously, I met you at a networking event, but
Yeah.
what else would you add to that?
Yeah, I think being out there. Don't be private about what you do. I think and going back to I'll answer the question about what's the craziest thing you've done, but doing something crazy will force you gotta get out there. You gotta network. You gotta post on social media. You gotta let people know what you're doing, and you'd be surprised if you follow the first thing that I said is doing good business. If you do good business, partnered up with actually being out there, you know, putting out your business cards, networking events, cold calling. You got to get out there. You can't just be behind a screen.
Yeah.
That combined with good business, you'd be surprised how far that'll take you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I talked to a lot of people that want to start their own business and stuff, and that's a big one. Like they don't want to get out of their comfort zone. They don't want to go talk to people. They don't want to go networking. But in business, it's a must. Like you need to go meet people. If people don't know you, they're not gonna do business with you. Like people have to know what you do, and again, back it up with good business, and then they'll spread the word. It'll be word of mouth, and eventually you'll grow your business. But the first thing is definitely you need to network and get to know people in your industry. Like for me, I have to go meet ENT doctors so they can refer me patients who have hearing loss who need hearing aids. Or I go meet Shannon at networking events. Now he can do digital marketing, or if I need a home loan, I know who to contact, right?
Right. Yeah. So I think getting out there, getting your face known, make as many touches as you can, especially early on in your career. My dad always used to tell me, finding a job is a job. So I remember when he was like, "Look, you're already 20. You got to get a job. You got to start paying rent." Right. And so I was like, well, I ain't got a job yet. How am I supposed to do? He's like, well, finding a job is a job. So you get out of this house and you at 9 a.m. and you don't come back till 5.
Yeah.
And you start submitting applications doing this. So for any entrepreneur out there, you don't have any business right now, right? You're like, I have no business. I don't know what to do. Well, guess what? Finding business is the business right now. So from 9 to 5, you should be doing something to actually get business, whether it's I'm gonna, like you said, I'm gonna do networking events, I'm gonna do cold calls, I'm gonna do posts these many times on social media. So, that time that you don't have servicing clients should be actually going out there and making your service, your business known to people.
Definitely. So you got to get out and do stuff because, I've been seeing that a lot lately with these upcoming, the new generation. They don't have as much responsibility.
Yeah.
So you need to push yourself a little bit, get out there. Like you said, go finding a job or go starting your business is a job. Like that's the first thing you got to work on, right?
Exactly.
So Shannon, what is the craziest or the hardest lesson you had to learn in your entrepreneurial journey?
Two of the most craziest moments I can remember in my life is one when I was, I think, 22 and quitting my job at Keller Williams to do my entrepreneur venture full time. That was one of the craziest things.
And Keller Williams, just so they know, it's like what? It's like a real estate company?
Yeah, I was doing marketing at the time when Facebook business pages just came out. They had, and all of Keller Williams, they didn't have any, marketing social media department at all.
Yeah.
So this one branch in Palmdale, they were testing it out, and I was one of the first marketing/tech guys in the business. And then I started doing the financials. So I think I was making around $18 an hour at 22 back in that time, which is really good money.
Good, yeah.
And so the craziest thing I did was I told my boss, hey, look, I want to go 100% on my own, and this is what I want to do. And I remember he told me, like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, you're a minority, you're 22 years old, you have no college degree. This is like kind of telling me this is the best you could do, right? And he's like, I would be surprised if you're not, crawling back for your job in the back, in a few weeks. I was like, damn. So I was like, no, F that. I'm gonna go out and do this. And on top of that, I moved to LA. And when I moved to LA, I was supposed to move with a friend. He backed out. We were supposed to sign a lease together. So I ended up having to stay at my grandma's house. I moved to LA. I'm fresh out of a job and I know nobody. And I'm like, what am I gonna do, man? So that's when I started. I was like, you know what? I burned the ship. I made it to where, no, this is what I'm gonna do. And that's it. So that's when I started going out to networking events, and that's when I met you, and going on Craigslist and seeing how I can get business, and just doing what I said was, getting out there. I was getting out because I knew nobody, which was kind of the best thing for me, because I wasn't going to go back to Palmdale, Lancaster. I wasn't going to
Yeah.
go back to getting the job.
Yeah.
I
So
was
quick,
like,
quick question
yeah,
so the audience knows, like, so you had this aha moment at Keller Williams because
yeah,
you were doing their digital marketing.
yeah.
So what triggered you to go on your own? Like you saw the opportunity?
Yeah, so I think for me, I saw an opportunity that no one was doing this, right? No one was doing this, and I was like, you know what? I seen a lot of these real estate agents, that didn't know as much that I knew about marketing, still successful. I'm like, man, I could do better. I
Yeah.
could do better, and I can service these agents and these businesses better if I were just on my own.
Yeah.
And so I did hire a business coach, and I was like, you know what, I want to go out on my own. And I looked at people in my job, and especially in a lot of jobs, and I seen that they were just zombies, you know what I mean? Going day by day, year by year. Next thing you know, they wake up, they're 45 years old, and they didn't really do much. And I didn't want to be that person. Like, I wanted to get out there, and worst case scenario, I get another job.
Yeah.
At least I don't want to live with regret. So
Yeah.
even if I crash and burn, I can go back to the same job or something similar
Yeah.
and be in the same exact position. So I think not living with regret and just jumping and taking that leap of faith was a key. And then I think the second craziest thing I did was, when I moved over to doing real estate
Yeah.
full time. I never forget this story. It was I got my license the end of 2020, the beginning of 2021. I
Your
got
real estate license.
yeah, I got fully licensed, and I remember I started making cold calls, and I got 5 appointments one weekend for 5 refinances. I'm like, man, I was just seeing like how many deals I'm going to close.
Yeah.
And going back to that keys to success, I
Yeah.
had a guy that had 10 years of experience. His name was Miguel. That was like, dude, I'm going to be with you on each one of these appointments because I just got licensed.
Yeah.
I'm going to be with you at these appointments. I'm going to help you out. So that weekend, and it was January 2021 when rates just started going up, and I had no idea. But we made these appointments, and at the end, I was with this guy. He was helping me structure them, and based on the numbers, they were only going to go down. Their rate was only going to go down 1/4%, 0.5%, and with the fees, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense for them to refinance. And going back to that, that lesson of always do good business, and having a mentor there tell me, look, you got to tell these people it doesn't make sense for them to refinance.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. And that kind of hurt because I'm like, oh man, I'm seeing the deals just fall out.
I'm gonna cash out.
Yeah, but I had to go back and tell each one of them, look, it doesn't make sense for you to refinance. And I remember just sitting there after that day and thinking I'm going to have 5 deals to having 0, and rates are going up. People in major lending companies are making mass layoffs, and they're saying, man, this game is going to tumble. It's going to fall. And I just got my license in this business, and I'm like, what the hell? And so I say, you know what? I'm just gonna persevere. I'm gonna get through this, and I'm gonna just take market share. When everyone's leaving, this is when I'm gonna come in and just take over. And so I think that lesson of doing, again, going back to doing good business and being with the right people, is really key, because if I didn't have that mentorship, I might have would have quit the game right then and there. And the game's gonna test you. Every game is gonna test you, and you have a decision to make. Are you gonna persevere? Or are you going to quit and go back to something else? And I think that's what's going to separate, the winners from the losers.
So as a reminder, this podcast is obviously for entrepreneurs who are up and coming. Now, with that being said, Shannon, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs early on their journey?
I would say for entrepreneurs early in their journey, step one, you probably have an itch that you want to scratch, like, hey, I want to do stocks, I want to do this, I want to do that, right? You got to scratch that itch. So, if you're a young entrepreneur, 9 times out of 10, you have a million different things you want to do. Pick 1 to 3 of those and try them out. Try them out in a way that's not going to, financially or professionally impact you so hard that you can't recover. And the way to do that is to find someone in that field that is extremely successful, and you have to do 1 of 3 things with this person. 1, you have to work for them, right? Number 2, pay them as a mentor, because nothing in this life is free, and if it's free, it's not worth anything.
Yeah.
Or number 3, if you're in a commission-based kind of environment, look for that one person that is successful and actually bring deals to that person. You got to bring value. And I mean, even in your journey, I know you started off with your uncle, right? Who
Yeah.
actually started off in this industry, and I'm pretty sure you learned the basics and things like that, and
Yeah.
then branched off, right? Like that's, and for me, obviously we know my aunt was in the business for a while, learning under her and people like Miguel that have this experience learning under them and telling them, hey, look, you know what? You're going to win off my success. That's, what I mean? That's my paid education. And that's how I was able to really thrive in the first few years, is cutting that learning curve and pretty much by at least, you're going to cut that learning curve at least by 5 years, if not 10.
Yeah.
And that people that are successful, you want to be around that frequency. Success is a frequency, and you're around people and that energy of people that are successful. I'm pretty sure
Oh yeah.
that's going to rub off on you. That's going to
Definitely.
rub off
That's a
on
big
you
one.
very quickly. And that's something that you can't be behind a screen and just watching these gurus all the time. You got to be in front of somebody, because that success is a frequency, and you're going to be around that frequency. So I think that's for sure number one, is being around successful people who, wherever industry you want to pick at least one, but
Yeah.
pick three, try them out, and then narrow it down to one, and be around that successful person or those successful people,
Yeah.
and cut that learning curve in time. And then number two, know one thing: in order to be at the pinnacle of your field, you got to be in it for at least 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So have that in mind. I'm pretty sure because how long you been in hearing aid game?
The hearing aid business, over 8 years now.
8 years.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
do you think, what year did you hit that pinnacle? What year was it? Year 3, year 4, year
Probably like around the fourth year. So
third,
when we
fourth year?
started to just double. We doubled every year. Double, double.
There you go. And so, again, having said that, people think it's gonna come in year 1, year 2.
Yeah.
You got to have that mindset of, no, I gotta put those 10,000 hours. So make sure that whatever field you're in, you're around successful people and you stay consistent, right? And I guess the last one, if for any marketing tips out there, you definitely want to market yourself. And if you're just starting off, you want to make sure that obviously it's not breaking the bank too much. So right now, email marketing is so underrated. If you're in a business, email marketing is really good. TikTok ads are super cheap right now. Posting on Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels. Facebook is still pretty hot. So, doing one of those three things, and maybe taking that medium of email marketing, cold calling, TikTok ads, and then presenting it to that mentor professional in your field, that maybe you can bring that as a value to them, so they can share with you their stuff and bring a part of their success. You want to bring something to the table with anyone that you come in contact with. So those are some of the really affordable marketing ways, on top of AI too. Prompt engineering, you definitely want to learn about prompt engineering when it comes to Chat GPT and using these AI softwares, that a lot of people that are at the top of their game that you want to learn from, sometimes they don't have that piece dialed in, and you can actually come in to someone's organization with value with some of those tools of, hey, I have AI software tools that I can help you in your business. I have email marketing I can do. I have social media skills that I can present to your business, because if you want to be in the hearing aid game, if you want to tell Chris, hey, I have something of value that I can do for you, even if it's, hey, I want to sweeping the floors at night.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got to do
Yeah.
whatever you got to do to get in the game.
Definitely.
And if you're going to do this by yourself, just know it's going to take a much longer process as if you just stick to someone who's successful and learn from them and give them something of value, so you can cut your learning curve from 5 years to 10 years. So
Excellent.
I would
Excellent.
say,
No, love it. Love it. Just to recap, what Shannon just said, passion. Find your passion, right? You said like try one, two, three
yeah,
things. Find
but
something that you're gonna really be passionate about. Because if you're not passionate about it, even Steve Jobs says this. If you're not passionate enough, once it gets to like, the super hard work, or you're not making any money, you're just gonna quit. So it needs to be something that you're just gonna stick around no matter what, grind on it until successful, right?
yeah,
And again, surround yourself with successful people. Maybe in the industry that you want to get into, find a mentor that's just gonna get you to that place where you want to be much, much quicker, right? Yeah, like Chan was saying also, test things, test them out, work hard on it. I wouldn't recommend really getting like a loan, right?
No.
I really believe in that if you can't make money without money, you're probably not gonna make money with money either. Even though a lot of people think, oh man, that guy's rich and he had money to start off, or that person got a loan, and it's just not real. Like if you don't know how to make money without money, you just don't know how to make money at all. Period. And then ChatGPT, it's a good thing that we've just like all been starting to use. It just writes up articles, summaries. If you're trying to do a professional post, you can just be like, "Hey, ChatGPT, write a post on hearing loss," and it'll just like knock it out.
Yeah.
Do you think it's gonna replace like copywriting? Is it called copywriting?
Yeah, copywriting. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's going to be your virtual assistant, and that's when you got to learn. With ChatGPT, a lot of people don't know how to use it because they're not thinking of it as this is your assistant, and you got to learn how to be a boss with AI, right? That's why I say prompt engineering is tell it, hey, this is the role that you're playing, this is the task I'm assigning you. Here are the parameters of that task, and here's how I want the output, and then here's the example. Right? So following that metric when it comes to AI and ChatGPT, will help you because it's not going to go anywhere. And people that are using it are going to extremely exceed the people that aren't. And that's what I'm saying. When you tie all these things together, it's finding, like you said, that person. And for you, it was your uncle. For me, it was my aunt. For other people, it could be different people that's not behind a screen, right? We all have these internet gurus that we watch, but being in front of that person is a whole different level.
Following them around.
Exactly. Right? Following them around, working for them, paying for the mentorship, or having them, be a part of your success, be a part of your deal, because they have to benefit as well. No one's going to give you anything for free. And then probably using ChatGPT, online marketing as a way to maybe provide value to them is a really good thing. And how can I learn about ChatGPT and all these things? Learn about prompt engineering. Learn how I can use this tool for myself, and to like you said, it can create content for you, can do market research for you. With ChatGPT Dolly, it can create images for you, AI images for you. Hey, I need an image for my newsletter. I need my image for my blog. Create an image using, I need, family in front of a house with a dog that has this as a sold sign. It can create even images for you now. So again, using that, a lot of people don't know that, and people that are at the top of their field don't even have time to learn all these things. And that's something that you can, present. And even as yourself, like you said, it doesn't cost a lot of money to do. And that can, again, start you generating money right now, generating business now.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Shannon, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your time, your friendship, your business. And where can the audience find you if they need help with their marketing or their their real estate stuff?
Yes. So I have my personal Instagram at shanman379. I'm pretty sure they'll tag it here.
Yeah.
Or you could also do Fund with Shannon at Fund with Shannon. That's my loan Instagram. That if you're looking to, again, get financing for your first home, financing for your first real estate investment project, Airbnb, whatever the case is, just let me know. We can create a game plan for you to get that done. And obviously, I'm still doing marketing for specifically medical clients. But again, if you need any marketing advice, I definitely have a background in that I can help you out with as well.
Excellent. So for any real estate marketing tips, hit up Shannon. I'll tag him. And again, thank you, brother, for coming on.
Hey, man, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We'll catch you guys on the next episode of Making Feria.
Yes.